Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Today, there are people speaking against the government on political stages. There are also some people who are in the government delivering blistering comments on the Bond Commission. This theft has been continuing from 2008 to 2016. Whose money is this? This is the hard-earned money of the working class. Their EPF. Their Mahapolo scholarship funds that have been stolen. This is the money that is there to bring medicine to support the free healthcare system in the country. This is the money that is there to provide free education to the innocent children of this country. This is the money that is there to develop your infrastructure facilities. This is what has been stolen. This statement is not just aimed at a group within the government. This is a tragic tale that goes back to 2008. Do not forget this. When the report was submitted by the Serious Frauds Investigation Commission, I saw plenty of big names. There are a lot of people in these reports. I will take appropriate action. I will make sure that they are brought before the law, prosecuted and put in prison. As a government, we will take back the money that was stolen. That is my responsibility. I will make sure that I fulfill this responsibility. They formed a new party against the SLFP and they are saying, let's return to a time before 2015. It doesn't matter if you turn back. The people involved in the bond scam will have been punished. The thieves will have been caught. They would have been taken before the law. They want to come into power so that they can burn these reports and dismiss the cases that are there against them. That is the purpose of their slogan. Do not falter or turn back. With your support and the support of these ministers, I will take the SLFP forward.
Good evening to our viewers joining us on TV1 on our primetime news bulletin and to our listeners on Yes 101. That was the President speaking in the Vallavai area in the Monragala district. We also brought you yesterday the speech made by the Prime Minister with regard to the Bond Commission report and the political situation in our country. I have here with me Mr. Faraz Shaukat Ali. Now Faraz, yesterday we showed to our viewers and to our listeners how the Prime Minister said that the money of perpetual treasuries has been held by the Central Bank of this country and it can be recovered and there will be no problem thereafter.
Well, Chaturanga, if the Central Bank bond of February 27th and also again a couple in March 2016, if they were not scams, why would there be a requirement to recover the money? The speech made by the Prime Minister establishes this fact that there was a scam, and this is the way the Prime Minister saying that the money can be paid and there would be no problem and be no loss to the state. That's an acceptance that this was a scam.
Faraz, he also made a statement in Parliament in March 2015 to say that he insisted on a system change with regard to how the bond auctions are being carried out. Why did the Prime Minister in his speech say that the officials involved in this will be punished? Is he trying to sacrifice anyone or is he trying to do something to get over this issue at hand?
Well, it certainly looks that way. Why would he want to bring in these officials when the decision, he admits himself that he insisted that the system of issuing bonds would be changed. Thereafter, it was his friend and the person that he appointed as the governor of the central bank who went ahead and carried out those instructions. Mr. Mahendran admits as much, and it is very clear that they are trying to pin the blame, apart from on Ravi Karunanayake and Arjuna Mahendran. Now they're trying to pin the blame on these officials at the central bank. So I suppose all these officials who are trying to do an honest day's work ought to be fully aware of what's going to happen. And it's absolutely clearly not acceptable for the Prime Minister, with all his expertise, 40 years in Parliament and so on, and 4 times the Prime Minister of this country.
Faraz, now some would say, one can point the finger at us and say, you all are targeting the Prime Minister, you all are saying this and you all are doing this to the UNP. Are we targeting the Prime Minister, Faraz?
Look, I'm glad that you raised the question, but let me say this. This is very, very, very sad for what we are doing. We're doing our job at the end of the day. We're reporting, we're explaining the news and holding officials to scrutiny. That's the job of the media. But it gives us no happiness to do this to our Prime Minister, who has been a friend of this group, who's known to several directors of our group for several years. It gives us utter heartbreak to do this, because at the end of the day, he is our Prime Minister. But please understand that we are doing what we have to do in the national interest. And there is no way that we are targeting this Prime Minister or the party. What we're doing is bringing the facts to the attention of the people. The people of this country cannot be taken for a ride. They will not let it happen. Thanks to modern technology and the decimation of information, people are far more aware than they were all those years ago.
For us, with all that is happening, shouldn't the Prime Minister resign even until the investigations are properly concluded?
As sad as it is, because the resignation of a Prime Minister is not something easily required or asked or demanded, but the sad answer is yes, the Prime Minister must step down and make way for a full, frank and impartial inquiry.
Several politicians spoke about the Bond Commission statement, the report, the statement made by the Prime Minister yesterday. We have a voice cut from the JVP parliamentarian Sunil Handuneti, who is also the chairman of COPE, speaking about the Prime Minister's speech made yesterday. Let's have a listen.
They conspired to force me back down. You saw recently even the President was forced to walk out of cabinet recently. That is also because of this bond report. I had to walk out of Parliament when I was preparing the COPE report. Now once the contents of the Presidential Commission are being inquired into, the President couldn't remain in cabinet because the gang of thieves are in it. First they surrounded COPE, now they have surrounded cabinet. What should the President do? He shouldn't be going around making statements. There is a precedent with what happened to Lalith Kotalawala. Once the investigation concluded, the AG and the CID advised to seize all the assets of Lalith Kotalawala for the benefit of the Golden Key depositors. I wonder if he can remember this. Instead of speaking at rallies, the President can issue an order to seize the assets of those who are involved, freeze their bank accounts and suspend their passports. This should be the initial step.
Now for us, the Prime Minister of this country is being criticized by the media, he's being criticized by the politicians, he's being criticized by everyone in the country.
And this is the Prime Minister of this country. The people involved in corruption should be put behind bars. The money should be recovered, the fines that are due should be imposed and ensured that payment is made and credited to the consolidated fund. And what's the hindrance about that? They broke the rules. That's what they should be doing.
For us, several more politicians spoke about the report and the statement made by the Prime Minister yesterday. We have KD Lalkantha, a Politburo member of the JVP, speaking. Let's have a look.
When this government came into power, the exchange rate for a US dollar was 130 rupees. Now it has increased to 150 rupees. This happened because of the massive fraud that was committed. Now they are saying there is no issue and the people didn't feel a thing. After looting the central bank, they are saying there is no loss to the country. The central bank suffered a shame at the international level, and all this was under Ranil Wickremesinghe. So how can he shamelessly say there was no loss to the nation and they would get this money back? He shouldn't be the Prime Minister. He should be tied up with Ravi Karunanayake and put in front of a bullock cart or taken to the field. We need to tell Maithripala to take these two into a paddy field in Polonnaruwa. What else can we do when they make statements of this nature?
Leader of the JVP, Anurakumara Disanayake, speaking to masses in Mount Lavinia, elaborated on the symbol of the rogue.
The politician is the symbol of the rogue. Ranil Wickremesinghe said, "Give me power and I will nab the rogues, seize their assets and build this country." Did he nab the rogues? Some say it's fine to not nab the rogues if you prevent theft from recurring. That too did not happen. The Bond Commission report is out. 1 billion in profits in just 5 months. Some might say it's fine not to nab the rogue. commit theft as long as the economy is uplifted. Some even claimed Ranil Wickremesinghe is the best brain in Asia and he has friends all over, including England. He is even friends with the US President. So, did they build this country?
Controversial politician Vimal Weerawansa also spoke about the Prime Minister's statement about the Bond Commission report.
You can make whatever statement you want, but you are now in disgrace. You have already been implicated in the bond scam. If you have any shame, the fearless leader should resign. Else the other people of Cinnamon Gardens will also be in disgrace. The public believe the people of this area are very respectable people. They think they are rich and do not steal other people's stuff. Ranil Wickremesinghe has brought a black mark to this area. We know that a bond scam took place. We know the losses. We know who committed this theft. We know who the mastermind is. Now the law needs to be enforced. This is not happening.
When we speak about Vimal Weerawansa, just one thing comes to our mind. Passports, passports and passports. And we also remember who it is who made calls to Ranil Wickremesinghe, who went into jail, remand, and then came out a few days later. And we remember one thing. Passports, passports and telephone calls to Ranil Wickremesinghe.
The credibility of these politicians are also a question. Faraz, I have here a WikiLeaks entry that has been published in 2007 of a discussion that happened between a diplomat from Japan and then opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Yeah.
Let me read this out to you. In response to a private exhortation by opposition leader Wickremesinghe for Japan to suspend its economic assistance, Akashi told Wickremesinghe and later reiterated publicly that the Sri Lankan people should not be punished for acts of commission and omission by their leaders. This means that the opposition leader then asked the Japanese diplomat who was here to stop financial assistance to be given to our country.
Absolutely. And that is absolutely shocking news, because we must bear in mind that this is back in 2007. It was a time when our government was trying to get the terrorists back onto the negotiating table and was trying to get international opinion to help them along that way. And for the leader of the opposition, Ranil Wickremesinghe, at that time, it's nothing short of a traitorous act. It's absolutely astonishing that Mr. Wickremesinghe would do this and put his own agenda, perhaps his party's agenda, before country. It's a pity that Mr. Wickremesinghe doesn't appear to have known all this thing about, in the UK they say king and country or queen and country, and in this country it should be the president and the country, not your personal agenda. Shocking.
Now with that for us, let me draw your attention to several statements made by several backbenchers, including ministers, deputy ministers coming before the media, coming before the general public and speaking about this bond transaction. I'm talking about backbenchers of the United National Party. We also saw how Minister Harin Fernando spoke about this issue and how he tackled it. We have another statement made by Minister Harin Fernando, the Minister of Telecommunications. He was speaking to a group of people in Kandy. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
The former leaders of the United National Party are not thieves. Dudley Senanayake was a 4-term Prime Minister. He only had 400 rupees in his account when he passed away. C.W.W. Kannangara, who brought about free education, survived with a stipend of only 1,000 rupees. J.R. Jayawardena donated all his properties. Premadasa brought about the Sucharitya before passing away. They are not people who left anything. The ancestral home of Gamini Disanayaka was destroyed when Kotmale was being built. We should teach a good lesson to the dogs who are insulting our leaders on the 10th of February. Because the UNP is staying silent, because we are not bringing out the white vans, because we let the media say anything they want, they must think we are cowards.
For us, who are the real cowards here? And the journalists who have been working in this country, what is Minister Harin Fernando talking about?
Well, it's a sad day when a young minister who's been given responsibility decides that he's become a dog trainer. And we remember that we had Lakshman Kiriyalla, who decides that all the exposes done on him was all fake news because of fake media. Well, I think the people will decide who's telling the truth. We don't really want to take too much of our valuable airspace, airtime, to deal with dog trainers and so-called multimillionaires with 400 million in their bank account, but who cannot simply produce the asset declarations.
Yes, Faraz, now speaking about Minister Harin Fernando, we remember how Minister Harin Fernando, during this time that he's talking about, the past that he refers to, came to this very media station, sat in the lobby downstairs and waited for us to talk to us, various emails sent, making various requests to put him on air. We really don't want to go there, but Minister Harin Fernando is speaking about the past, so we also have to remind the general public about the past and what happened.
All the waiting time he did just to get 2 minutes of our airtime?
Faraz, now, back in the day when they were playing rugby matches, friendly rugby matches with the so-called people in the former government, Minister Harin Fernando had the luxury of going home, maybe in a vehicle that was guarded by various security guards, but the journalists in our country did not have that. We saw what happened to the journalists. Will the journalists of this country, the media personalities, be intimidated by statements like this?
Absolutely not. That's not worth even talking about. The media in this country have been strong, and they're getting stronger day by day, thanks to the activities of these so-called politicians who've got their own agenda, not the agenda that would reflect the people's needs and aspirations. And by the way, whilst he's going around in his vehicles, perhaps he'll get stuck on the Rajagiriya flyover.
Maybe the white vans that he's going to send, he's speaking about the white vans.
Indeed.
He'll have to consider the traffic situation caused by the constructions, the projects that are done by their government, especially if you're sending it through Rajagiriya, Nugegoda, Dehiwala, Paligoda, you'll have to maybe consider about the traffic situation.
They'll have to do that.
There
indeed.
as well.
Indeed.
Now, in more news, the security detail provided to former Minister Ravi Karunanayake has been reduced. Former Minister Ravi Karunanayake had this to say to us.
Recently, the Inspector General of Police called me and said Vijayadasa Rajapaksa had claimed the security of us MPs must be at a certain level and I have been given extra security. He claims the security must be curtailed. I said I never asked for it, but the security was kept because there was a request. The IGP said the security will be brought down to 2 officers. I said no need and withdraw them all. I have no security officer. In a country where one does not need to have any fear, security is not required. I rejected all that. The IGP said an issue has been raised. As this has also been directed to the Elections Commission, the issue is there and the security needs to be withdrawn, and now there is no issue about it.
Now we are going to talk to you about former governor of the central bank. No, we are not going to talk to you about Arjuna Mahendran. We are going to talk to you about Ajit Niwad Kabra, the governor who was in office before Mr. Arjuna Mahendran. Now for us, Mr. Niwad Kabral had made a statement and said that his sister was not part of PTL, Perpetual Treasuries Limited, when the bond transaction happened, which was the 27th of February 2015. We have information to say that Mr. Ajit Niwad Kabral, the former governor's sister, Ms. Siromi Noel Vikramasinghe, resigned from Perpetual Capital Private Limited on the 4th of December 2015. Now we all know the company structure of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, and we all know, we have reported on this continuously as to how the company is made up. The bond scam happened on the 27th of February 2015. But the resignation of Siromi Noel Vikramasinghe happened 8 months after, in December of 2015.
It's good news, and it's an indication that the investigative journalists are earning their money because they are doing some pretty good work unearthing this kind of information, and it all helps in the bigger picture towards fighting corruption, nepotism, political patronage, and so on and so forth. So good news.